With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced Sim Racing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-Box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware. And that's why we wanna create something that's really gonna reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, you can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an Advanced Sim Racing customer.
It's the dawn of a new season for the Precision Racing League NASCAR Truck Series, and it's the dawn of a new opportunity for a full field of drivers. Bradley Holly won a 14th championship last season after a fierce battle with teammate Richard Regan Jr., and their Whataback Racing teammates followed in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Will this be another season for the record books for Holly and the Whataback crew, or will somebody else add their name into the PRL history books? We'll find out very soon as the PRL NASCAR Truck Series kicks off tonight at Nashville Superspeedway. Hi everybody, Joey Tebbin here alongside Terry Radford in the booth, and New Jersey's own Zach Johnson is behind the scenes directing in both sound and color. Terry, as we start the season here at Nashville Superspeedway, it's a new track to the PRL Truck Series, not a new track to NASCAR altogether. We've had it for one season, but that's basically as new as you can get.
Yeah, I mean, this is the second time I got to call Nashville, and on Monday we had a winner go back-to-back, and you come here for the PRL series in these trucks. First time they're racing around in Music City, and it's been a different little tale here. I'm watching practice, and I've been watching it for about an hour now, and I've seen a lot of new names touch the top. You got Thomas Sink up there now. He ran a pretty decent lap of a 30 flat. Just a lot of people trying to find some speed out of this track. Track temp's going down. Speeds are going to pick up, and I've seen a lot more flips in this race than I saw in the Pro Light race a little early on iRacing.
Yeah, two very different kinds of trucks, but two different kinds of trucks that always seem to find a way to flip over each other in practice. But it's certainly going to be a crazy season, Terry. Let's take a look at the schedule for this season of the PRL Truck Series, the PRL NASCAR Truck Series. It looks very familiar. It's basically following the iRacing schedule, but I see two new tracks there, Terry, in Mid-Ohio and IRP.
Yeah, those are two very very fun places to go. Mid-Ohio has been on the schedule for the Xfinity guys in real life, and that's been a good one. And the Lucas Oil Raceway, that's one of my favorite places to go. You go out there in the ARCA series a ton, and just getting to get a rip around that short track, it brings out a lot of skill, just like Nashville does. Me and you talked in pre-race here, just shooting a bull, and this is a technical driver's racetrack. You screw this up, something's gonna go wrong. You're gonna find yourself on the outside wall very fast.
And I'm sure we'll talk so much about those difficulties over the course of tonight's broadcast. But before we go any further, we must thank the people that make these broadcasts not difficult whatsoever. Of course, we got to start off with VCO, the virtual competition organization, helping us out here at RaceSpotTV and helping make every single Precision Racing League broadcast possible this season. And of course, Advanced Sim Racing is back. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Rating designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile simulation cockpits available on the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision 5 coupon code. And our coverage is brought to you by RaceLab Apps. RaceLab helps you to improve your driving skills. With modern overlays, race statistics, and native VR integration, you can get the best out of iRacing. Start using it now for free at racelab.app. The Butt Kicker as well is bringing our coverage to you. Butt Kicker products provide an incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat with Butt Kicker. And of course, last but not least, Ninja Trader. Ready to compete against the financial markets? Supporting over 60,000 users across the globe, Ninja Trader provides award-winning trading software and brokerage services. Ninja Trader is always free to use for advanced charting, backtesting, and trade simulation. Visit ninjatrader.com to get started with a risk-free trading simulator and start tracking your performance. Well, over the course of the week, we've been tracking the performance of the Precision Racing League. Terry, it's been a crazy week so far. We've had MX-5s, GT4s, fixed and open GT3s, but now it is trucking time.
Yeah, and you going through all those ads right there, and you get to Butt Kicker, and it always makes me laugh. I had to mute my mic because the name, it just gets me every time. Butt Kicker is, something you'd think normally when you go to a bar. You think it's somebody in there's a big, massive, jacked up person. It's just a big old butt kicker. But nah, I like it. I've been kind of paying attention here to most of what the Precision Racing League's been doing, and they put on a lot of events. They do a lot of stuff across the community, the iRacing platform as a whole. I thought about getting in and seeing if I could race in an MX-5 league because, well, I like some road courses every now and again.
Well, that was a heck of a race on Monday night. The MX-5s took on the Monza Junior course, which is as close to an oval you can get on a road course. And that was a wild race. But now we are well and truly on an oval as Abner Acosta takes to the track. 2 minutes left here in this session in qualifying. Abner is in an interesting position here. I've been accumulating statistics along with the PRL over the course of the past couple days. Abner Acosta in the PRL NASCAR Truck Series, 3rd all-time in wins, but he's tied with J.R. Smith on 15. So if he wins today, that's going to be 2nd all-time for Abner Acosta.
I'll tell you what, and he's going to start off really hot. He's up in 2nd right now on provisional time. Obviously, everybody hasn't came in and qualified, but a ton have. We're only missing about 10 or 11 drivers to come across the start-finish line. Sean Powell sitting provisional P1 at the moment as we take a look here at the 62 coming on track. Mark, he obviously was fast in practice. I was kind of watching his line. He was able to force it 3 wide. At one point in time, he forced it 4 wide to the outside and was able to complete the pass. So I'll be curious to see because the next-gen cars, Joey, on Monday for RSR wasn't able to get that outside lane progressively worked up a little higher. But these trucks right here, they were scattered every which direction. And for Mark here, he's going to go into the 16th position on his qualifying lap.
Well, Terry, you told me before the race that you entered a fixed race and an open race in the official series. Both of them are at Nashville. How did you feel when you were taking on this track? Did you feel you can make the outside line work, or is it a one-groove racetrack?
No, I felt like it was both. I mean, in the open race, obviously, I'm not going to mention what setup shop I used, but the setup was able to progressively move up and down. I could run the middle, right there where you start to see the very top of those tire tracks happen right there. I was able to really get the right sides on it and kind of work down. But as the run progressed, it got slicker and slicker up there because the track temp went down drastically. And as the rubber built up, it was harder to do. But in the fixed race, I felt that the bottom was the only place I really could make the momentum. I had some guys that could go out there and make the outside work, but for me personally, you really had to jerk the wheel on the bottom. I ended up getting a 6th place finish out of it, so top split is not a split I'm used to, but I mean, for P6, it was pretty good. But these drivers are a whole lot more qualified than I am, even though I think in practice and in qualifying, I think I'd have been sitting pretty up here.
Well, literally all of our drivers are qualified, and I believe we have the grid to show you right now. On pole is Sean Powell in the Phase 2 Chassis Works number 45, alongside Abner Acosta, fighting for 2nd all-time in PRL truck wins. Then it's Jeff Evans and Michael Diaz. Talk about diversity. Michael Diaz was in the GT4 race, on Monday night. He's followed by Chris Harvey and Danny Cervantes, another PRL truck regular, in 6th. Then back down to 7th, it's Kyle McGarvey, alongside Thomas Sink, a longtime PRL truck driver as well. Christian Swenson is back, alongside Dalton Geyer. Then Mike Witt and Daniel Knight round out the top 12. Then down to Doug Evans, Baron Hilton, Kevin McGarvey, Garrett Austin, Zach Panzarella, and Mark Kalin is 18th. That's a lot lower than he would have liked. Moises Caraballo, he won the GT3 race last night at Hockenheim. He's in the trucks now. He's alongside Eric Papineau. Charles Sumner races just about everything in the familiar orange truck. He's alongside Jim Westerfield. Then Mike Richter and Jose the Funky Cold Medina, 24th in 24. Nicholas Hunter, Steve Loving, Skip Gandy, Doyle Lawrence, Colton Lane, Adam Zemke. More big names down at the bottom of the field, and the final 4 drivers in the field: Dylan Schmidt, Ryan Travers, Stacy Hunter, and Tom Emasi round out your 34 truck field for tonight.
Pretty stacked field right here. Watching, I think with the 34 drivers, well, 39 drivers in the field at the moment, if for some reason we get spread out here, like we've seen over the week so far in officials, it's going to be interesting to see, lap traffic, how much of a factor they're going to play in these laps, because we got 85 of them. So at one point in time, the leaders are going to get caught by something, and only a matter of time before we see something big happen. And I don't think it's going to be too hot for whoever catches somebody that fast.
85 laps or 1 hour is the time limit. It's about a 30-second lap here, so if we go green all the way, it will very much be under the time limit. But if we do have some cautions, if we do have a little bit of drama, we could very well reach that 1 hour time limit. But we've got a lot of time until we get there, and it is the number 45 and the number 5, then Jeff Evans, Diaz. It's a stacked field of drivers. But in a matter of moments, we will be getting ready to go green. The field packs up behind the iRacing sedan pace car. 39 drivers in the field, 34 qualified, 5 did not. And in a mere matter of moments, we are going to kick off yet another PRL NASCAR Truck Series season. It's Nashville Superspeedway. It's a new track for the Truck Series in real life. It's only their 2nd year, but it's the 1st year for the PRL NASCAR Truck Series. The sedan pace car pulls off, and the green flag is in the air for PRL Trucks at Nashville. The field scrambles down the back straight, 3, almost 4 wide through turn 1, but it's Sean Powell still in a commanding lead. It was a strong start from Doug Evans as well, or Jeff Evans rather, up to 2nd, and Abner Acosta falling down just a bit, but we're cleanly through lap 1, Terry.
Yeah, cleanly through, but for the back half, you got 3 wide. One point in time, I saw 4 wide. Truck got loose, caught the apron, went down to the grass, and that's going to happen here on cold tires. You see the 25 here is in the sandwich in between the 42 and one of the driver. They make contact there. No more contacts made. Truck's off into the grass into 3. Hey, but we managed to save it. And never mind. Back on the track they go. Turn to 1 and hit him.
McGarvey in the 42 could not keep it on the bottom of the track, and we are piling trucks in. Charles Sumner, Doug Evans, Tom Emasi has to park it at the bottom of the track, and we have a parking lot here in turn 3.
Yeah, that looks like I-65 after a Titans game right there. You saw everybody sliding in, and that all started with just I would say incidental contact there between the 25 and the driver. I couldn't see his number on the car, but just very incidental contact. And that's originally going to happen. I mean, you see it here on the replay. There we go. So you see the driver there make contact with the outside, made contact with the inside first. So the 42 makes contact with them, and then a complete innocent bystander in the 26 comes back up and he catches him. There's nothing you can do, and then obviously everybody else is trying to get on the binders and slow down as much as possible. The 312 comes flying in there. Nothing Austin Hunter's going to do. That's a hit.
There's a little bit of a blink on top. The 17 almost avoided that, but Charles Sumner tried to get on the brakes, couldn't avoid it. The 9 comes in. Nicholas Hunter can't avoid it. The 48 of Thomas Sink, the 5 of Tom Amasi, they both managed to stay out of trouble, but they just had to park it because they had no idea where anybody was going to go. But a little bit of a hip check, and when everybody's packed up like this, there was nowhere for half the field to go.
I don't normally get critical, but watching the replay a couple times there, if I was the driver that went down on the apron, there's no sense in coming back up there. You see a 2-wide battle happening, and you see the drivers progressively working their way off of the corner. Coming back up in that time, I personally wouldn't have done it. It's early in the race. You're on lap 3 or lap 2 at that moment. There's no sense in coming back up there, and now you have, a bunch of tore up trucks and for some people's debut at Nashville or debut in the series, they're sitting on pit road trying to get some damage done.
Well, on the other hand, debut in the Truck Series, or at least a debut this season for Sean Powell, certainly going pretty well. He still holds on to the lead. Jeff Evans is alongside, and after a more mediocre start than he would have liked, Abner Acosta is down to 5th, and it's Michael Diaz who holds 4th at the moment, but we're packing him back up. We're going to restart once more to begin lap 6 next time around. That's when we will restart these trucks, and it wasn't as long of a green flag run as we would have hoped, Terry, but now that we've gotten a little bit of the running over each other out of the way, do you think we have a chance to get a little bit longer of a green flag run in this restart here?
I would imagine so. I mean, looking at some of the lap times in practice, looking at the runs, because they actually did a couple mock race runs in practices, which is something I don't see very many leagues do. And I was talking to the producer beforehand who has experience with this league, and I was just like, what are they doing? Like, they're running a mock race here. And some of them put down 75 laps without ever making contact with anybody. So, yeah, I would expect them to single file out, and you're going to have to move somebody at some point in time. But I don't really see a whole lot more wrecks happen. But who knows? The jinx might be on me.
And one driver I'd just like to shout out before we go green here, Bradley Holly. He is in the field tonight. We haven't mentioned him yet because he didn't qualify. He started with those 5 drivers from 35th to 39th. He didn't qualify. He's all the way at the back. He's got a little bit of damage on the side of that truck. The most dominant driver in the PRL Truck Series has an uphill battle ahead of him, but there's a clean track in front of Sean Powell. He's going to check up the field for as long as he possibly can. He waited a while on the initial start, but he's gone on the restart now. Sean Powell gets it going. Jeff Evans gets back in line, and we're green once more at Nashville.
It was an interesting start from Evans because I think he timed that perfectly because he knew Acosta might not be able to get the jump that the 45 of Powell got. It allowed Evans to get down, work to the bottom, get right in front of the Abner Acosta machine. And now you got 97 of Harvey. He's going to all bunch up there. And this is, talked about single file. Here we are, first 7, 8 trucks. Single file is now we're starting to look at a peak for second.
And it's been a great start for Pat Harvey so far. Michael Diaz has fallen to 6th. I confused the 2 blue trucks. But Pat Harvey is up into 4th in the number 97, and he is all over the back of Abner Acosta. That's a great run to the inside. Harvey's going to have the inside down the back straight into turn 3. Is the bottom where he wants to be, side by side with Abner Acosta, and Harvey looks like he's just going to drive right by him.
Yeah, that outside lane, though, it's going to be good for a couple laps as you see that Acosta, he's able to work the outside. He got a great run off the exit of 3. Solid speed down the straights, and now he's not going to be able to hold him into 1. He's going to be able to shove him, might be able to do the crossover, but nope, he's going to have a truck right to his back bumper. Sink's going to put all the pressure he can. Oh, that almost made my heart drop as the crossover into 3 happens.
That was dicey stuff, but Acosta was just barely clear of Sink. Couldn't get to the inside of Pat Harvey, though, as they continue to circulate in single file. You look all the way to the back of the field, it's a Nashville snake right now. Very little side-by-side running. You have to go back to Panzarella in P14, trying to attack Eric Papineau. Side-by-side. And other than that, it's a very, very single file run for the moment.
They must have been watching the broadcast, because I don't know, I said it'd be single file there, but yeah, these two drivers here, you talked about doing all the research on it. I actually went back and was watching just a little bit of like a montage that was put together of somebody telling me, hey, there's a montage out there. Got to watch a little bit of it, and two names that really, jumped off the page was obviously Holly, who has dominated everything across the board and across the platform here with PRL. Yeah, I think I'm right. PRL, yeah. See, I almost screwed that one up. But you see the 247 and the 27 here battling. This is just going to be a driver's track, and these two drivers working back up the field, trying to get it up right outside the top 10 at the moment.
And there is Holly on the bottom of your screen, that blue and black truck on the attack right behind Skip Gandy and Jose Medina. Holly does drive straight by Medina, but he's got those two bright green and red cars of Panzarella and Gandy right ahead of him. Holly's on the attack. He's had to start from the late 30s in the bottom of the field. But if anybody knows how to drive his way through the field, it is Bradley Holly. In the two PRL NASCAR series, the Sunday Cup series and the Wednesday Truck series, Holly has totaled 95 wins over the past couple years. And do not count him out. Even if he's starting 35th in 73 laps time, Bradley Holly could very well be in the fight for the win here.
Sometimes you just got to challenge yourself. You just got to go do something different. It's like, hey, I don't want to qualify this week. I'll start in the back and see how many people I can pass. You look at him, he's going to get a run here. He's going to try to make the run on Gandy. He'll get down to the bottom going into one, and this is just an easy pass. He worked it down, was able to drive deeper into the corner than the 20 was. He's going to get a great center off, and now he's got the 247 right in front of him of Zach. I think this is going to be a challenging run to the front, but I'm not counting it out. He's the guy.
Holly continues to circulate, but we've got a battle for P5. Abner Acosta holding behind this train of Diaz, Caraballo, Hilton, Richter, Westerfield, and even Austin trying to catch up to the back of this train. Diaz and Caraballo, the 30 and the 278, those two drivers have been racing in the GT series over the course of this week. Both Precision Racing Esports teammates, and they are trying to work their way through the field, but unfortunately it looks like there's a little bit of a wall in front of him, and that wall is Thomas Sink and Abner Acosta shaped. It's been very difficult to pass up front. It's not been difficult to pass in the back, as we saw from Bradley Holly, but I think it might just be a little bit of a waiting game up here, Terry, for a couple more laps.
Yeah, these drivers, obviously, they qualified up front. The biggest mover right here is, I think you pronounce this, Moses, in the 278, up 12 positions. Mike Richter up 14, and Jim Westerfield up 12. They were able to make a run through the field. But the thing is once they got to this top 5, top 6, it's harder to make the pass because your stronger competition goes up here. I mean, you see Sean Powell, he stepped away from almost a second from Evans. And I think as the run progresses, we're seeing the track start to come down temperature-wise. You're seeing the sun set more. We started this race in the dusk part where the sun was kind of out, was heating up the track a little bit, as you see the 27 and the 34 going side by side through 3 and 4.
Directly ahead of Bradley Holly, it's Loving and Austin. Side by side down the front straight. Now we're starting to see that side by side action a little bit further back. Holly was under attack from Daniel Knight. Austin in the 34 on the outside. Making the outside work just a little bit, but the 27 of Loving fights back on the exit, and here comes Bradley Holly. He's going to make it 3 wide down the back straight. Are they going to be able to stick it 3 wide down the back straight is the question through turn 3. Everybody giving each other room, and oh, that's no room at all, and that's going to be a wreck for the 34. Austin down into the grass, and that will be our second caution of the day. Daniel Knight's around. Panzarella's around. Or rather, Skip Gandy's around.
Yeah, I think the normal one rule is don't put it 3 wide into 3. but Holly was able to make it stick on the bottom, and there was a lot of room there for the driver to come down that was in the middle to work his way down, get a little bit more even with the two trucks, washed up just a tad bit, and took out a competitive truck. You know, a top 15 truck is just as competitive as anybody here as we take a look at the replay.
Loving in the middle, Austin on top, Holly on the bottom. Holly left him a ton of room, and then Skip Gandy just ends up on the scene, nowhere he could go. Daniel Knight, nowhere he could really go. It was a pretty self-contained accident, even though there were 3 trucks involved, but that's what can happen when you go 3 wide here, Terry, I guess.
Yeah, not a whole lot of damage either, and you talked about it being just a small pact there. Normally when you see you know, 2 drivers or a driver go around in front of you at Nashville, they're coming to the bottom and everybody wants to, you know, zip around, and you kind of lose control because the moment you go to lock up the brakes, the car wants to go back up to the top. You don't really want to do anything. And with 20 laps on the tires, or about to be 20 laps, I expect everybody to come down pit lane, take their first set of tires. But this theoretically, if the fuel is where I think it is, this could be the only pit stop. If we can get a couple more cautions. I don't see too many people wanting to flip it here. Maybe we could have some people stay out too, because that's not a bad call. You could hold somebody off. We saw Ray Alfala went on 2 tires in the Coke Series last night, so big opportunity for some strategy to go on here.
Looks like it was only a couple lapped cars that stayed out, but just about everybody else is in the box. Powell, Acosta, Evans, all of your front runners. Powell leaves the box. Oh, but is he going to get beaten by Evans to the line? That was a photo finish. We're going to have to check the cameras there. I think Powell did beat Evans out of the line, but it was by a quarter of a nose at most.
Yeah, they got 4 sets of tires in the pit, so to see a lot of these drivers, you know, coming down pit lane, taking them now, that's a smart move. You got them coming down. They'll take 1 set here, and if we go green, you know, you could potentially see them come down. If they wanted to split this race into thirds, you could see a driver come down at lap 50, lap 55-ish, and then go that final 30 lap distance. So you'll go 20, 30, 35 to end the race on a set of tires, and still have one of the pits just in case you get a late race caution. You get one with about 5 to go, you'll come down. But Powell almost lost the race lead for the first time this afternoon, and this is going to be an interesting restart too, because Evans didn't get the start that he wanted off the jump, but now he kind of knows where Powell's going to go. Unless Powell throws a wrench in it, then we're all going to be left guessing.
Losers in that pit cycle was Moises Caraballo. Unfortunately, was fighting with his teammate Michael Diaz in 7th, but he has lost 6 spots down to 13th at the moment. Still a top 13, a 39 car field. Not too bad, but he's going to wish he was back up in that top 10. He's got plenty of laps to do so. That's Charles Sumner. He was involved in an early accident. He will get waved around the pace car here. And in a matter of moments, it will be Sean Powell restarting. So, Terry, it's kind of a fresh restart here. It's kind of like we've gone back to the start of the race again. And it's going to be a 64-lap race instead of an 85-lap race. How's Sean Powell going to approach this now that it's that little bit shorter?
Well, I would say just charge it. Just absolutely drive the corners as hard as possible. Our longest green flag run, obviously at the moment, was from lap 5 to lap 19. Not really a feel you can get in that time frame. You want to know what the tires are going to do in a long run. Sometimes this track gets better. Or what I was feeling when I was racing just about 2 hours ago was, well, the track picked up more grip towards the end. The tires didn't fall off as much. My rights were only 70 and 77 towards the end of the run, and I still had good right side tires. So that's why I said 2 tires here could play dividends. If we see a green flag stop, I would expect one of these drivers like Acosta, Sink, Medina, Diaz, or one of these drivers that are sitting right outside the top 5 or right on the cusp of the top 5 to just roll the dice. Take 2. You're going to rotate a little bit better with it, because you're only going to tear up your lefts here.
Well, we have navigated through turn 2 for the final time under this caution period. Restart to begin lap number 23 in another half lap's time. It's Sean Powell. He's been up front from the very beginning of the race. Jeff Evans started 4th, up to 2nd. It's been a solid run for him. Then it's Pat Harvey now on the bottom. Abner Acosta down to 4th. Thomas Sink, Jose the Funky Cold Medina, Michael Diaz, Baron Hilton, then Richter and Westerfield round out your top 10. The iRacing sedan pace car makes its way out of turn 4, pulls down pit road. Sean Powell, for the 3rd time, is in control of the field. And once again, we are green at Nashville. Evans all over the back of Powell that time, but not able to make his way to the inside. Sink, Acosta side by side as Harvey moves his way through to 3rd. Acosta making the high line work on the restart, but how long can he stick it up there?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking right here. I just watched Chris Harvey get passed by Abner Acosta on the outside, and the outside lane is starting to come in. You see the 48 now of Sink. He's going to work up there and then work back down to the bottom. He's going to go to the apron. A little bit of an advantage down there. I didn't feel a whole lot of it, but he was able to get a nose, and now he's going to be clear here. So you see Chris Harvey fall back to the P5, and now the battle for 6th is going to happen on behind them. Diaz and Medina having a good battle here. They've been magnets to one another so far in this race.
Medina to the outside of Diaz, but he's not able to stick it, or is he? Side by side with Diaz down the front. Oh, but Medina hits the wall. On the exit of 4, Medina just clips the wall, and that's going to ruin the momentum down the front straight, and Medina falls back. Baron Hilton gets through. Can he get the truck back under control? Westerfield, Richter, all over the road trying to pick up the pieces that Medina dropped.
Yeah, the funniest part about this track, and I think me and you were talking about it a little bit earlier, is the one mistake that you're going to make here is overdriving the center off. The moment you get back on the gas just a hair too early, as you see normally when you're side by side here, once you're coming off the exit, you have about, you want to start matting the gas or going 3/4 on the throttle right at the center of the corner, like dead center. And you'll see it when we come into 3 here, and I'll tell you exactly where to go, because I made this mistake and almost smacked the wall too. You'll go right to the center of where that Tennessee lottery is, and then you want to start rolling back into the throttle, and you want to gun it by the time you see the NASCAR sign. When you see the Tennessee lottery fully again, you're fully on the throttle, getting a good run off the exit of the corner. But when you're side by side and you're to the outside, you can't do that. You have to back it up a little bit more and then hope that you can pinch the driver on the door on the inside. As you see here, he's going to cross over the 35 here down the back.
Jose Medina to the west of Jim Westerfield, but just a little bit too early on the binders, and Westerfield drives his way through Jim Westerfield up to 8th place in the number 35, and Medina unfortunately continues to fall as here comes Mike Richter next on the scene, and then Steve Loving. Remember, he was involved in one of the previous cautions, but he clearly got away with it. Doesn't look like there's much damage on that truck, and Loving is the next driver who's just going to swallow up Medina.
Yeah, Medina's used his tires up, and I know that's crazy to think that you used them up in a lap, but that can happen here. You'll burn these things up really fast. You throw a lot of heat in them in one corner, and you're going to have a long time before you start to regain the feel of it. You've seen everybody go past him. I mean, at one point in time, he was sitting battling for 5th, and he goes to the outside. He catches the wall, and now he's slipped all the way back. Almost, yeah, outside the top 10. He's down to 12th now, and he's falling even further. It's like he tied a parachute to the back of that truck, like the NHRA cars. But for the 27, yeah, in a wreck. Who cares? Loving working his way back to the front. The 29 machine doing a good job getting back up here. It's 27 on his truck. It's throwing me off.
And Papineau now takes care of Medina, as did Bradley Holly, the number 184, almost back in the top 10. It's like nothing can stop him. But he's got 11 more trucks to pass if he wants to get up front, make it win number 64 in the PRL Truck Series. But Jose Medina still has a lot of laps ahead of him. I almost wonder, I didn't see Jose's pit stop specifically. Is it possible that he took 2 tires and that's why he's falling so badly?
Yeah, I mean, his pit time was a 9.75, and
oh my God, we've got a spinning top coming down the front straight. The
Well,
number
hello.
44, CM Punk Pennington, absolutely destroyed. And he's on his lid. He's trying to spin the tires. He's trying to flip back over, and he can't do it.
Yeah, you ain't getting off that. You're kind of where you're
And
at.
Sumner's involved as well. There's more trucks than we thought. Sumner's involved in his second accident of the day. We don't know who caused that. And there's Sean Powell, our race leader. McGarvey, the other McGarvey. It's been a cursed day to be named McGarvey. This is chaos.
You got me at the CM Punk reference. I like it. It's good to have wrestling fans on the show. But let's see what the heck happened here, because that was a big one. You don't normally see something on their lid. Oh,
dear.
clear. Not clear, not clear. And yeah, there he goes around, and then a truck trying to get on the brakes didn't know where the 44 was going to go, and around he goes. Yeah, you're not clear there. Oh, he just turned him.
Yeah, looks like he got loose on the exit.
My goodness.
Got loose and then turns into a spinning top. He managed to cross the line. Here's Charles Sumner. Let's see how Sumner got involved. It happened quite a bit ahead of him. Let's see, he navigates through turn 4. He probably sees the spinning top of CM Pennington. Oh, that was McGarvey who was in the middle of the track, and Sumner just either couldn't see him or waited way too late to get in the brakes.
Well, you can see that his orange is squeezed, freshly squeezed at this moment, because, well, he's smoking. And I don't
Terry,
think orange
you
is
say
supposed
that
to
as
do
a joke, but Charles Sumner, he was racing in the MX-5 race earlier this week, and he didn't have the best race. He literally said, my orange got squeezed, but unfortunately, I think he squeezed his own orange there.
Yeah, he did. Well, rack them and stack them again. We'll see what we got. I don't expect anybody to come pit. We haven't done much lap-wise. I mean, we went green about 11 and a half laps ago, so no sense on that one. I mean, yeah, the 77 did come back up there, but some of this stuff right here isn't making sense. I think the proper etiquette, falls in. There's a driver code out there, even with iRacing, that certain times you want to stay, if you're slower, you're yielded, or you're wrecked, you stay a little bit lower on the racetrack. You don't come back up into the racing line, because there's somebody behind you at all points, unless you're tail end of the field. But just I don't know.
Well, we're gonna pack them all up once more. Restart in a few laps time. Once again, it'll be Sean Powell. It's going to start feeling like Groundhog Day for him. This is going to be the 4th restart. It's going to be the 3rd restart where he's going to start alongside Jeff Evans. So put yourself in Jeff Evans' driver's seat for a second here. It's your 3rd time restarting the outside of Powell. Every time he's dunked on you on the restart, he's pulled away, you've had to get in line. What do you do in Jeff Evans' seat on the restart here to take as big advantage as you can?
Lay back as much as possible, and I know that goes against the driver code I was just talking about, but that's the only way you're going to be able to time it. You're going to have to see, once you see the rear tires start to spin, pick up a little bit more traction, then you really can drop it into gear. And I would say starting first in this situation and just creep back, and then the moment you see him go, just yank the gas and pull it to second. Maybe you'll get enough spin of the tires to propel you to his door going into one, but the 45's changed his lineup every time. I watched him go at the start of the restart zone to start the race, and then I saw him go right there in the middle of the box, and then he's going to go at the start of the line at one point in time. He hasn't picked. He's going to roll back and then just yank it.
Well, he's only got one more lap to think about his strategies. Positions more or less haven't changed from the last restart. There's been a little bit of shuffling. A couple dropped out of the top 10, like Medina, but Powell, Evans, Cinca Costa, Diaz, Harvey, Westerfield, Hilton, Richter, and Caraballo are your top 10. Completing lap 35 under caution, 50 laps to go. We could run into the time limit here. We've had 3 cautions already. Laps take quite a long time under caution here, so before we know it, we could end up on the time limit. But for now, there it is. There's the clock. 34 minutes remain. Will we do 34 minutes of racing, or will we do 50 laps of racing first? It's certainly possible to do 50 laps in 33 minutes with a 30-second lap time, but the drivers have got to keep it clean and keep it green. So we'll see if they can do that. But Sean Powell, as I said, Gonna be feeling like Groundhog Day up front. It's the 4th time he's restarted up front. He's had Acosta alongside him. He's had Jeff Evans alongside him, but he's had nobody in front of him. And that is critical. But the iRacing sedan pace car navigates through turn 4. And for the 4th time tonight, Sean Powell sees the flag ahead of every single other truck in the field. And in a matter of moments, he's going to lead us to green once more.
Yeah, that time he went right there towards the end, about 3/4 in there. And to update our chat, want to know what's going on with the 40 machine of Robert Happy Gilmore. Currently out of the race, 19 laps down, had only completed 18 laps. So there's your update for the chat as Powell takes another commanding lead of 0.4 of a second as Acosta and Evans go side by side into 3.
And this is exactly what Sean Powell, oh, they make contact and Jeff Evans goes around. Acosta and Evans make contact and the caution, as soon as it went away, it's back out and it's for the 2nd place runner.
Hard racing early. I don't think we're going to hit the 49 laps that are left here, right? 2x2 at Nashville. We said it to start the show. This is an absolute driver's track. If you, for any moment in your time when you're racing here, think that this track isn't going to come up and bite you, you're wrong. It can happen in a blink of an eye, and it happened there. The run off the exit of the corner, thought for sure there's no way that you're gonna not be clear from the outside lane going down. You come back up to maybe give them a push to get a run into 1. It didn't happen, and luckily, not a whole lot of damage there for that machine from Evans, and he's gonna fight. He's gonna live to see another day.
Jeff Evans was fighting for his 2nd career NASCAR or PRL NASCAR Truck Series victory. Now he's got a lot more work to do, but as we look at everybody packing back up, I wonder, we've not done very many laps under green, but I see a good contingent of the field down on pit road, so some alternate strategies coming into play on pit road. Yeah,
I see a lot of drivers coming in. It's with Danny Cervantes. Evans obviously came in, Richter, and I misspoke. Happy Gilmore is 27th. Here he finds himself. He's actually on the lead lap. Timing and scoring does have, its faults. 27th, up 12 positions. He's on pit lane with a different strategy here. Garrett Austin, Kristen Swenson, all in for unscheduled pit stops.
And on the topic of Robert Gilmore, since he's such a fan favorite, you mentioned he's in 27th and he made up 12 spots. That means he started 39th. Robert Gilmore started dead last. So the only way is up. And clearly, the only way has been up for the number 40.
See, we can admit to our mistake when timing and scoring do what they do, but he's up to 18th now. That's actually a big move. That's 21 spots up. You see whenever we go around here a couple more times, not a bad start so far. But I'm curious, what are the new tires going to do on this track? Because when I saw drivers come in underneath, obviously in the official races and tires, they really were kind of stagnant in traffic. The trucks didn't want to handle as well. You could kind of make the outside line run, but at the end of the day, it's can you work your way through traffic and how quick can you do it? Because if you get hung behind a car or a truck for 2 or 3 laps, you're not going anywhere. You're just going to sit there unless you move them.
Sean Powell still riding up front. We actually lost a couple drivers from the top 10 who elected to come in. Holly elected to come in. Panzarella was in. Of course, Evans was the caution. He brought it down pit road. He's fallen out of the top 10. And now the latter third of the top 10 consists of Adam Zemke, Hunter, and Colton Lane are your top 10 now. But for the 5th time, we're going to have another restart, and this time it'll be Abner Acosta on the outside. Acosta's been aggressive. He's wanted to get back up onto that front row for so long, and he's finally there. But now the question is, what can he do with it?
I had a smart butt comment, but I won't say it. He's gonna have to. He's been the one that's been right behind the 45. So he's seen where he's gone. He's had 3 different distinct restart spots that he's chose, and I know that's weird because you don't know which one he's going to take. I would assume, if I was a betting man, that he's probably going to go back to his original one and start right at that line, right when that front valence catches the line, and just take off once more.
Just a little bit of statistics for you. Sean Powell in the number 45. You know how many PRL NASCAR truck races he's done before tonight? 0. You know how many Abner Acosta's done? I don't know specifically, but a lot more than 0. So it's a battle of inexperience versus experience, or at least inexperience in the PRL. Sean Powell over 5,000 oval iRating. So clearly plenty of oval experience, but it's a new field of drivers. It's a new field of trucks, and it's a new field that he gets to lead yet again. He's been up front all day. And I'm trying not to repeat the same script every single time we do one of these restarts, but you can't help it. This guy's been dominant all night, and he's going to continue to dominate. Or, unless Abner Acosta can fight back, he will not continue to dominate. So the iRacing sedan pace car pulls off once more. Sean Powell in the 45. Abner Acosta's back up to the front row for the first time since lap 1. And we're green again at Nashville.
That time he waited to the very end of the box to go, and it's side by side for second as Sink is going to work his way to the inside of Acosta, and it's 2 by 2 all the way from second till, well, the very last person on the field. Everybody is going to fight for position here. You have old tires, new tires. There's so much strategy going to happen, but the first car on new tires, or first truck, Mark Richter, is back here, and he's sitting in the 14th position. So Joey, how far can he go?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know what my Richter scale goes up to, but drivers in front of him are going to be quaking.
That's good. That's good. That's good pun. I'm into this. This has been a good broadcast so far. You got side by side here for 4th. Those 2 drivers, that's Harvey and Diaz, going at it. We'll see if maybe, just maybe, the outside lane can prevail here. I see that right now the 97's up there. You got Diaz on the bottom. They almost made contact coming off the exit, but you got the draft in front of him with Acosta.
Acosta has not had a good restart. He worked so hard to get back up there on the front row. It was kind of handed to him, but Thomas Sink pounced, and now Harvey and Diaz and Caraballo are ready to pounce as well as Thomas Sink goes to chase down Sean Powell. Again, it's a little bit of an Acosta train. I can basically see all the way to the back of this field. They're all circulating behind the number 5 truck.
Yeah, and you got Loving back here. He's trying to make a run up here on, I believe that is the 00 of Hilton. It is, so he's going to get around there, and you got 2 by 2 right now. Finally, somebody's going to get underneath Acosta. That's Harvey. He's going to get up there and make that run happen. And I believe there's 2 Tropicana trucks out here. One of them squeezed, the other one's not. Yeah, this has been definitely fun.
Acosta and Harvey side by side for 3rd. Harvey is ahead at the moment. Diaz wants a piece of the action as well. He pushed the number 97 down the back straight, and Harvey is well and truly clear of Acosta into turn 1. But here comes the 30 of Diaz, Caraballo, Colton Lane. Everybody is trying to pick up the pieces as Abner Acosta seems to be flailing here.
I am honestly surprised with him falling that hard. We saw it a little bit earlier with another truck that tended to have a little bit of issues that just slipped all the way through the back of the field. But now they're going 3 wide on Acosta. You got one to his outside, one to the inside last time that happened.
Oh dear.
Yeah, we saw a big wreck. Well, that looks like Loving. He's going to give the shot to the bottom, and we're going to continue to go 3 wide there.
I think Caraballo backed out of it. He didn't really want to be 3 wide, and I think that's what saved everybody. So everybody continues rolling through turn 2. Now into turn 3, Steve Loving to the inside of Acosta, then Hilton, then Caraballo, and look at that, the 15 on the high side. That's the first truck on new tires. Mike Richter is making those new tires work. He's a little bit out of shape out of 4. I think he might have scrubbed the wall a little bit, but he's on the move.
Luce is fast, and Luce is always fast. See the little bit of a scrape mark there on the passenger side of that truck, but he's slinging it sideways. He's dirt tracking it at Nashville, and that was a tough move to get the car around.
We've got another flip down the back straight. It's the number 247. It's Panzarella. That is That is very interesting. If I had a nickel for every time we've seen a car going upside down in Nashville Superspeedway tonight, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's still strange it happened twice. Let's see how that happened, Dr. Doofenshmirtz, alongside with the 71 Jose Medina. Yeah, there we go. Basically the same thing we saw in the previous flip, just nowhere Panzarella could go with the 71 to the outside, or he might have squeezed him a little bit. We'll have to see another angle of that.
Yeah, we'll take a look here. He's going to get the run on the bottom. He's going to gas it up, and yeah, you're not clear. He flipped over
Jeff
the
Evans.
top.
Jeff Evans almost got involved.
Yeah, he flipped over the top there. That was actually a pretty interesting flip, because yeah, I'm watching the replay as well, like on our coverage here on YouTube, and to see that angle he's going, I would have assumed as a driver that he was clear, but that was just an incredible one. He had Evans just barely missed that. Caught the grass, kicked a ton up. That 247 is, well, it looks like Jessica Friesen's wreck at Knoxville.
The wreck that we weren't supposed to see, apparently, but
yes.
The entirety of the field brings it down, or just about the entirety of the field brings it down pit road here once more. Sean Powell has a lot easier of a time this time, doesn't have to drag race with Jeff Evans to the line. Sink comes out in third, and then I believe that was Diaz. Here's Abner Acosta, very long in his box. Eventually gets out. He's going to fall behind Papineau and fall in between him and Daniel Knight. So, second pit stop of the day. They've still got 2 sets left if they need it, but will we ever get a long run is the question. Will they be able to truly use these tires? Colton Lane is hoping they don't get a long run. He's stayed out. Loving stayed out. Westerfield stayed out. Not everybody brought it down pit road that time.
Yeah, there's a lot that didn't come down pit road, all the way down 11th on up. Stayed on the racetrack, and the last time for Colton Lane to come down pit lane was the very first pit stop on lap 19. He's up 28. Loving's up 24. Westerfield 19. Just looking, you talked about Bradley Holly. He came down lap 37 there. He's up to 6th. Biggest mover, Robert Happy Gilmore, up to the 9th place position. So the 40 Toyota up to 9th here. This is going to be the wildest start since Will Smith came out with Get Jiggy With It.
And this is going to be the first start since the start of the race that hasn't been led by Sean Powell. So just by virtue of that, I think it's going to be interesting. Loving, Westerfield, Danny Cervantes is up to 4th, then Hunter, Holly, Schmidt, Medina, fan favorite Gilmore, and Dennis will round out the top 10. Derek Dennis in 10th, up 26 spots. That's a lot of spots moved up for some of these drivers, but with the amount of yellows we've seen so far in the race, I think you might have to go for the risk here. If you don't have the pace, you might as well go on strategy and hope that the way the first 50 laps of this race have gone are the way the last 36 go.
Well, looking at the time, the lapsed 43 minutes. I'll round it here out of the hour that's allotted. So if you're thinking rain delay in the NASCAR world of it, obviously other forms of motorsports will race in the rain because they're not afraid of it on ovals or anything else. This could potentially, we have 20 minutes left if we get 3 cautions, which is doable. I'm not saying that these drivers are going to do it, but with new tires being in the back, the 12th on back new tires coming up, trying to pass these drivers who have just came down on lap 38 or lap 37 or lap 32 or lap 19. You could get one where Lane could spin the tires on the restart, Joey. It's not out of the question that could happen. He's on very old tires here. This is going to be a challenge.
Colton Lane, very experienced in all sorts of NASCAR machinery and NASCAR machinery in the Precision Racing League, but he's going to be the first new starter up front. Your previous leader, the leader of the first stanza of the race, Sean Powell, he's no longer on defense, he's on offense, and he's back in 12th. And he's got quite a bit of traffic to navigate his way through. But it's the 2 L's up front. It's Lane on the inside lane and Loving the outside. But the iRacing sedan pace car, once more for the 6th time, I believe, will bring it down pit road. Colton Lane, the number 60. Steve Loving in the number 27 will lead you to green once more. It's a new leader. It's a new restart. And in a matter of moments, once more we're going green with 18 minutes, 43 to go.
Well, it's the L&L show, as you called it earlier, and that time Lane got one a heck of a start in that number 60, the Martin throwback machine, leading Lovin into one. What are the tires going to do? Because they're showing 3 wide now, all the way back there in the back.
Danny Cervantes on the attack as and there's a big wreck. Caraballo, Michael Diaz, and they're all flying in. Papino, Tom Amasi did nothing wrong there. Just got backed into by Diaz, but once again, it's a parking lot on the back straight of Nashville. Daniel Knight's involved again. Charles Sumner manages to avoid the wreck this time, and Michael Diaz is driving a crab back there.
That reminds me of the license plate I saw coming back home from work the other day from Florida. It literally said KK Crab, Krusty Krab. I don't know, a Florida machine, but you see the back end. Yeah, it's kind of kicked out there, skewed quite a bit. And that normally works at Daytona or Talladega when you get that kind of skew right there, make the back end, make the wing come off. But you see them here, they're too wide. It started a little bit up in front of them, I believe.
Oh, he got loose.
278 got loose. Fresh tires. It tends to do that. You see the 37 almost had another flip. Multiple times somebody almost went on their lid. Have we seen 3? Oh, and then just 17 was backing up there. Yeah. We got, I think the 00 kind of started that a little bit there because he caught the apron and made the 278 check up, and he had to really jerk his wheel a little bit more than what he wanted to.
And that's CM Pennington in the maroon number 55, who couldn't quite, or number 44 rather, couldn't make it through. Daniel Knight backed up into Diaz. Sumner avoids everything, but there's Diaz down pit road. No fast repairs in the Precision Racing League in the NASCAR Truck Series, so he's got to get that thing banged out the old-fashioned way. I don't know if there's enough time in the race. 16 minutes to fix a truck that destroyed. That's going to be questionable. But there goes Panzarella, or that's Skip Gandy, rather. Geez, two red and green highlighter cars are not easy to differentiate between, but that is Skip Gandy going around the pace car, getting one of his laps back. He is the lucky dog. It's a heavily scuffed number 20 for Skip Gandy, just on the outside of the top 30, but every position matters in the Precision Racing League, and in a season-long championship, it might be the difference between 30 and 29th, but that's still an extra point.
I think it looks gorgeous. You can't come to Nashville and say you didn't come out of here with a beat or a bang somewhere on the car. And you see he's missing the number on the driver's side, missing the front part of the front on the passenger side. Oh, well, that thing will buff. You'll get up there and get it done. But we're down to 15 minutes. And, yes, we will officially end under time. So we'll leave the time up for the fans at home. You'll know that we will race until the clock strikes, about 30 seconds, and then we'll take the white flag, and the checkered will obviously end it there. Tires didn't do much there on the restart, by the way. Only got up to Thomas Sink.
Yeah, and the drivers on new tires, unlike what we thought, they were the ones who brought out the caution, so it was completely unlike what we thought would happen, and all the drivers who stayed out, they did nothing wrong, and they've still got that track position.
Actually, correction, Sean Powell got to 10th. There was only 2 spots gained. It was honestly, at this moment, it's a net loss for him of 9. So if a caution triggers, I would say 3 or 4 more times here, we might only have 5 green flag laps that could theoretically run in this race with 30-second laps around here. We'll go one more pace lap. This is wiping a minute and a half each lap. So couple more cautions and we're going to wipe this all the way down to the 60 of Colton Lane or Steve Loving potentially walking out a winner.
That would certainly be an upset compared to how this race began, but we're going to go one more time around. The drivers packed up a little bit early there, kind of an illusion. They tricked me into thinking we might be going green earlier, but got a little bit more time to wait. See Bradley Holly back there in 6th place. We've talked about him a lot tonight. We've talked about his move through the field, but he's one of those drivers who didn't pit on this last restart. He last pitted on lap 19, but we know he's got pace, and now that he's only got 5 trucks to pass, I think this might be his best shot yet.
we're going to have to get a couple laps. We're going to have to get at least 3 or 4 laps for him to even see, can he go up there and contend. He was obviously not faster than these drivers on the initial start, or he would be in front of them by now whenever we flip the track position game here. I'm curious to see how long the 60 can continue on having restarts like what he had earlier. The restart zone has honestly helped a lot of drivers have strategy moves like this, because you don't necessarily get jumped the moment the pace truck leaves and somebody tries to jump you and you have to play all the games with them. You get to time it and be more precise with what the wheel spin does and how you get on the gas. I hope we finish this under green. 13 minutes of racing seems fun to me.
Well, it's an unchanged top 5, and maybe a little bit of an unchained top 5, as once more the iRacing sedan pace car pulls off. Colton Lane had a phenomenal restart the last time around, but Steve Loving has studied Colton Lane. Has he learned? Will he be able to match him? Or will Jim Westerfield follow into second? The green flag's back out, and it's another phenomenal start by Colton Lane. And like I said, there's Jim Westerfield to the inside of Loving. Might have the position for second as we navigate our way into turn 1.
They were snaking like Indy cars right there. You saw a lot of the trucks starting to wiggle the back end, trying to see if they could position themselves for a move into 1, but you still see it. Westerfield's going to get the run there on Loving. That's a big move. And you see these 2 drivers here. That's Hunter. He's going to try to get the 25 machine down there on the bottom. Might slide up a little bit off the exit because they do have old tires. So even with the track temp lowering down, it still doesn't of the track.
Austin Hunter won his first PRL truck race a little bit earlier this year, back in season 1, a couple seasons ago, but he has to defend from Bradley Holly aggressively on the outside in 5th, and we're still side by side. Now it's Westerfield to the outside of Loving, and Danny Cervantes with a tire that looks like it's digging down into the concrete, thinking about making it 3 wide. There's not going to be a gap for him, but here comes Holly all over the back of Cervantes now. Down to the inside, not quite down to the apron. There was a lot of single file running earlier, but that's nowhere to be seen now.
Yeah, you're not going to see it. I mean, they obviously are looking at the time. Nobody's crazy with 11 minutes left here. Laps are not a factor for the fans that are just tuning in. The laps are done. We're officially going to end under time, regardless of what happens here. Caution or green flag. It's time disparage here. You have the 27. He's trying to get all over Westerfield, and they've allowed Holly to get to 4th. That's a big story as you start to see drivers get loose back there in the back. A lot of pushing and shoving going on as we've come down with Powell up to 6th as well.
Yeah, Sean Powell, that was sneaky. I wasn't looking at him, but he's already up to 6th place, and he has those much, much fresher tires than just 5 trucks in front of him. So if you're these 5 drivers, you're really wishing that Powell and Sink and Hilton and Harvey, you're wishing that they got stuck behind some traffic for a little bit longer, because there is no avoiding Sean Powell down on the apron now. To the inside, 3 wide almost of Danny Cervantes and Jim Westerfield. They managed to sort it out, but Powell's getting aggressive. He knows there's limited time left in the race, and he knows he has the best truck in the field right now.
But Joey, remember what I said just a little bit earlier when I talked about if you get stuck behind a driver that's a little slower than you, not off the pace, but a little slower than you, and they're holding your line up. They're not giving you your preferred line, and they're not supposed to. It's called racing for a reason. Tony Stewart said it best. Go look up passing in the dictionary. If I'm supposed to just let you go, he's here to race. He jumps to the outside. He'll make the attempt there. He's going to get the 25 a little bit loose there. It's going to get him off the exit. Now down the back straightaway. Can he make it? Is he going to burn his tires off running that outside lane, because he has Sink right behind him? He's on fresh tires as well. Who can manage traffic better to get back to the front with almost 9 minutes to go in Nashville?
Powell clear of Cervantes now. Now Sink takes on Danny Cervantes. They're still side by side for second. It's no longer Loving and Westerfield. It's Loving and Holly. Bradley Holly, the blue truck on the inside, Loving the red truck on the outside. The number 184 looks like he's going to be completely clear on entry. He is, but Loving fights back, almost gets into the back of Holly. And behind both of them, Sean Powell is on the attack. It's almost like a sandwich for Steve Loving. He's got a faster truck behind, he's got a faster truck ahead, and Sean Powell is showing no signs of stopping.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to have the time here. He's going to need another yellow before something can happen, because currently at the moment, you see him, he's 1 second behind the race leader of Lane, and you see the time starting to come down, that time delta for Holly to Lane, but the delta is also closing for Powell catching up too. He's sitting in the P4th position, and he finally gets around here, and they make slight contact. Car goes into the wall. He's going to have to get around Loving, and he's going to have to do it fast. And, well, you got to be praying for a caution, too. The iRacing gods need to be good to the 45 here.
Chris Harvey takes care of Jim Westerfield and Danny Cervantes. Westerfield and Hunter continue to fall through the field. Baron Hilton now in the background in that green and purple truck, getting by Austin Hunter in the number 312. Side by side through 3 and 4. Hunter washes super high, but it's only a matter of time until Hilton gets by him. And now we look to that gap up front. Holly versus Lane, it was 6/10. Now it's 5/10. Can Holly bring down that gap for the win? Powell might be too stuck in traffic. It might be a three-way fight for the win, but these guys have got to be on it.
You're definitely going to have to be on it. I mean, you see the 60 starting to step away here just a tad bit. It's evened itself out between him and Holly, but now what you really have to look for is what's Powell doing with Loving. He's starting to clear him here. They're side by side going into one. The 45 is going to try to make the run on the 27 on the bottom, and I believe they're still side by side. 45 gets clear by just a hair, slides up in front, hopes to get the shut down the back straightaway that the 27 can offer. 27 gets in the wall, and he's not backing down. Loving will not back down here in this situation as he dives down below the 45. He's going to make the run. 45 is going to clear. He's got 1.2 seconds to make up now in 7 minutes, and that equivalates to maybe 3 laps.
Equivalent to maybe 15 laps, just to clarify, calculate
I'm
out.
horrible at math. Let's not do that.
30-second laps will just basically multiply the time by 2. So fans at home, you're always better at math than us in the booth, but
That's too much.
yeah, double digits of laps at the very least. So time is of the essence here for Powell and for Holly. Holly not really catching Lane. Those past 2 laps, they've been basically equal. But now that Sean Powell's got clean track ahead of him, can he do anything with that clean track? He's been about a second back from the leader, about half a second back from Holly. And now it's a 3-way dogfight. There's no more traffic. It's just the battle of who's the fastest truck and who can make a pass if they even get there.
I'll tell you, like Evan Pasoko and me say every week, we're not mathematicians. We call races for a living. I have no idea what math is. I was actually counting the 1.5 laps. That's all I was counting. You see side by side here. I mean, I'm not a math guy at all.
1.5 laps. That'll be Mid-Ohio in a couple weeks.
You see Westerfield out there on the outside. He's going to get hung out. You got Cervantes getting below here at Loving. Oh, contact was almost made there. Side by side all the way from 6th on back here.
And these two on the same tire strategy. So they've both been swallowed up by those new tire runners. They have a little bit of calm back here, but it's not going to be for long because they can look back. Loving, Acosta, Hilton, even more fresh tire runners on the attack. But look up to the front, a little bit of lap traffic was playing into the leader's hands there. The number 28 does get out of the way for Lane, but he doesn't get out of the way for Holly nearly as well. Holly navigates his way through. Didn't really hold him up. I thought it would hold him up a lot more. But I tell you who that's really worked out for. Sean Powell is all the way to the back of Bradley Holly. He's there. He might get to his bumper. And now the question is, how hard does Holly defend? Does he let him go and hope that he can fight for the win? Maybe they'll get tangled up, or is he defending for second place now?
Heck no, I'm defending every blade of grass on this track. You go to the apron, I'm blocking you to the apron. You want to go to the wall, I'll block you to the wall. And I don't see anybody giving the spot up here. I'm blocking the entirety of the track. I don't care where you want to go. I'm taking your lane away one way or another. And can't really protest the league race, I don't believe, as there's a truck that has went around there.
No, but gets off the track, not going to be a yellow. And here comes Powell to the inside of Holly. Holly leaves him room. Powell's got the inside. Powell's been making the outside work on those fresher tires, but Holly not able to make it work quite as well on those older tires. They're still side by side. Down the back straight, Powell back to the inside, charges the corner, gets a little bit loose on entry, but he will clear Holly, and now there's one truck ahead, and it's Colton Lane.
And you know Colton Lane's not going to roll over. You're not going to give the win up just because he has fresh tires. He's going to do exactly what I said. He's going to have to block in some way. I would say just lean on his door. If he gets to your outside, wash up a little bit. If he gets down to the bottom, pull down on his door a little bit. I mean, you got plenty of options to pinch him down to the apron. And if they touch the apron here, it's going to spell trouble. They can easily lose 0.3 of a second just by getting the wheel on the apron. It slows the momentum down, but he's there. It's 0.1 of a second, and, well, Lane's not going to go to the apron. Let's see if he pinches his door. Oh, he almost did it.
Near contact into one, side by side for the race lead. Can Colton Lane make the outside work? He's on so much older rubber. Powell pitted on the previous caution. Lane pitted a couple of cautions ago, and it looks like as simple as can be. Sean Powell drives straight through Colton Lane. Nothing Lane could do about that fresher rubber. And trouble in the background.
He smacked the wall. Lane
but
just
no caution.
popped the wall. Like, Lane just pancaked the mess out of the wall, and the damage is substantial. He's going to lose second, third, more than likely going to fall out of the top 5 with how hard he hit that wall. He's even dropped speed here. His top speed there is 170, and he's lost RPMs here.
Bad news for Colton Lane. He lost the lead, and now it appears that he might be losing the top 5, even the top 10, depending on how low on speed that truck is. But Sean Powell up front streaking away. Now second is Holly, third is Thomas Sink. It's not over for Holly yet. Thomas Sink is also on those fresher tires, so Holly might be happy to get second here, but third place is on the attack. Colton Lane is under attack from Chris Harvey. There might not be a battle for the lead, but there's still battles for these final positions in the top 5. Holly stays ahead of Sink. Not a great corner for Thomas Sink. Charles Sumner at the head of your screen is a lap truck. He's going to get out of the way. Sumner always courteous to those lead lap trucks. I don't think Powell will be too worried about lap traffic, but here comes Harvey to the inside of Lane, and could have been a win for Colton Lane, but now he's going to be lucky if it's a top 5.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about points, right? You say that at the end of the season, it could be a difference of 1 point, could be from 10th to 30th. I mean, this is how close some of these drivers will be. Everybody has their strong suits. So one driver might excel here. Some drivers might excel at Mid-Ohio or ORP or any of these other places that we're about to go to in this season. But for Holly, he's going to have to hold Sink off here. He's right on the bumper. He tried to go to the outside for a second, had to tuck back into the bottom. They navigated the lap traffic. The lap traffic moved out of the way and was very courteous on what they could do. So now we're going to see that battle as Powell is gone. And hey, we're under a minute.
Should be 2 laps to go at the line if my calculations are correct. Yes, as he crosses the line now, white flag next time by.
Caution.
Powell, and the yellow's out. It's not going to matter. There's not enough time left in the race. The yellow's out, and that's going to be it.
Yep, just kidding. That was it. I told you, caution or green. We were ending it at the time, and well, Powell was 50 seconds away from it all.
Could not see what brought out the caution, which is very odd. Not sure who brought out the caution, but either way, Sean Powell was probably going to win the race either way, but he's pretty happy that that caution came out. And I tell you who else is happy that caution came out. Bradley Holly is going to finish second. Doesn't have to defend from Sink anymore. We're going to bring it across the line here. This won't be the checkered flag, I don't believe. I believe they'll go around one more time under caution. Yep, here is the white flag. The white and yellow flags crossed up. Colton Lane in the 45 crosses at about 45 miles per hour, and the caution may have been Mike Witt. Not quite sure. We'll see if we can find a replay of that, but Mike Witt may have brought out the final caution and may have disappeared as soon as it happened.
I honestly say that at this moment, if you're Bradley Holly, you're up 33 positions. You were the biggest mover of the race, and you have to be clear. Like, you have to be clear here with the 45, the league. He has to understand the rules, because I would say that you're praying for the 45 to pass the pace car here. and across the line in front of that pace car. Maybe go up there and give him a little bit of a nudge and just push him just a little bit in front of that sedan. Because if he crosses the line in front of that pace car, Holly wins the race. So you still have to be disciplined. You can't let off here. You've got to complete the laps that was scheduled here.
One more time through turn 4. Unfortunately, a lot slower than we would have hoped. But Sean Powell, it's a very familiar position. Remember, first half of the race, he restarted so many times up to the front, fell back to 12th place under one of those cautions, pitted for new tires, drove his way all the way back up through the field, and in his first race in the PRL NASCAR Truck Series, Sean Powell is victorious at Nashville Superspeedway.
That was a heck of a drive. It stinks that it ended under caution. I really would have liked to see the battle for P2. I don't know if Sink would have been able to pass Holly with how defensive he was able to run and how aggressive he was able to be on the old tires. But I think it would have been interesting to see how aggressive Sink could have got if we'd have came through 3 and 4 the final time, if they'd have been side by side, if he maybe would have door checked him a little bit.
Well, Terry, I got good news. Luckily, we have 9 more weeks to see the rest of these drivers work everything out, and plenty more Precision Racing League Truck Series racing to come in the coming seasons. But as everybody's crossed the line now, we're going to take a look at the finishing. Is this Mike Witt? Oh, this is Mike Witt. I think this is what brought out the caution. We're not going to look at the finishing results just yet. This is bizarre. I don't know what happened.
Maybe just riding along. Chugga lugga lugga.
All right, so it was not Mike Witt's fault. We must acquit Mike Witt. Was not his fault, but it's a mystery. We don't know who brought out the. Oh, there it is. Now we know who it was. It was Mike Richter and the 41 of Doug Evans. I don't know why that was a caution. They both saved it.
That's a weird caution, but yeah, the wreck didn't fit, so we must acquit.
And the wreck really didn't fit a caution there, but can't argue with the iRacing gods. Race ended under caution. Sean Powell wins. Let's take a look at the finishing results for the race tonight at Nashville Superspeedway. Of course, Sean Powell came out victorious over Bradley Holly. So close to winning that race from the low 30s on the grid. Then Thomas Sink, another top 3 for him. Chris Harvey, a great result for him in 4th. And Colton Lane, after pancaking the wall, is in 5th. Abner Acosta, Danny Cervantes, Baron Hilton, Steve Loving, and Jim Westerfield round out your top 10. Then back in 11th, it was Adam Zemke. Austin Hunter brings it home in 12th. Doug Evans, part of that caution that ended the race, still finishes 13th. Dylan Schmidt and Mike Richter are 14th and 15th. Garrett Austin and the fan favorite Robert Happy Gilmore and Jose the Funky Cold Medina 17th and 18th. Tom Amasi, last car on the lead lap in the 5. And Jeff Evans, such a promising race, but it all fell apart down in 20th, 1 lap down. Then Derek Dennis, Ryan Traver, Skip Gandy, Mike Witt, he was acquitted, didn't cause the caution. 24th, Stacy Hunter ran into trouble. Moises Caraballo, a great interdisciplinary run in 26th. Mark Kalin, Eric Papineau, and the rest of the cars here are your used car lot. Michael Diaz, 29 laps down. Daniel Knight, 30 laps down. And 9 more cars. Sumner, Panzarella, Pennington, Geyer, Swenson, McGarvey, Hunter, and Lawrence round out your 39 car or truck field tonight. And very good news, we've got our race winner in the house. Sean Powell is ready for interview. He's going to join us in just a moment. Sean Powell, the driver of the number 45 truck. It's your first PRL truck race. It's your first PRL truck race win. How does it feel?
Feels pretty good, man. Feels really good, and that was a tough one right there. I had time, or the laps, or the tires to get to them, but it happened.
So why did you choose to come in under that caution? Those 11 drivers ahead of you, they chose to keep their trucks out on the track. They chose to keep those older tires on, but you brought it down pit road, and it proved to be a race-winning move.
I would say more so I thought more people was going to come down because I don't think we were making it to the end right there on gas. And I knew the time limit was running out. I knew that probably be my last time down pit road. So I was just like, let's hopefully drag people down with us. And I said I come out of 12. I think I was like restarted 12th. I'm like, I don't know. This is going to be a tough one.
and talk us through those past couple laps. It was kind of a three-way fight as you and Holly both caught Colton Lane. Were you feeling good once you cleared all that traffic when you had 1 second of clear road in front of you? That was the leader?
Yeah, I was just, trying to make any stupid mistakes, just riding out there and, because you can make a mistake pretty easily out there. Get tight or something, and you don't want to jeopardize that.
Well, it all worked out for your winner, Sean Powell, tonight. His first PRL truck race, his first PRL truck win. Congratulations once more to Sean Powell. And we've got second place in the house. Bradley Holly is waiting for us to speak to him, and he will be spoken to by Terry Radford as soon as we can navigate the TeamSpeak software. Here's Bradley Holly. Terry, talk to him.
Well, Bradley Holly finished P2 here tonight and got a little bit of damage on the side of the car, but hey, P2 and you had to hold off guy with fresh tires. How'd you do it? Whoa.
I'm not sure right now. With the way everything was going tonight, it was a bit of a frustrating race. But, I heard start shifting, so I gave it a shot and figured it out and now behind me.
Well, you didn't qualify. You were the biggest mover of the race by plus 33. The strategy to stay out there on that last caution was an interesting move, but hey, it paid off. What are you looking forward to most this season?
As usual, just trying to run with everybody and learning how some of the new guys race and race everybody clean. Reason why I started out in the back is because I made a mistake in the final race of last season, so that was my punishment. So just try to run and have as much fun as possible.
Well, you had a whole lot of fun. You got up to second. You going to qualify next week?
Oh, definitely. As long as I don't get a penalty for spinning somebody, I plan on qualifying every race.
Well, walk me through the spinning somebody thing, because what did you do?
It was the final race of the season for the championship against Richard Regan Jr. And I made a move I probably shouldn't have made and ended up turning him. So that's when you cause a caution, you get a caution point, and that's what happened to me. That's what I had to serve today.
I like it. Well, did you wreck him for a good reason?
I didn't want to. That was just a mistake on my part. I'd try to be as clean as I possibly can. I don't like wrecking people.
Oh, well, I was hoping there was a better story behind that one, but hey, you need some beef to start off our season. But all right, man, it's a good run for you, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much.
That was Bradley Holly, and Joey, you got Tom Sink.
Terry, you should get a career as an interrogator. I think we're going to see that Holly interview on one of those true crime YouTube channels. That was like a deposition. But Thomas Sink is around now, third place finisher. Same strategy as Brad in the end, or not same strategy as Brad in the end. Same strategy as Sean Powell. You moved your way up through the field. Third place, not quite a win, but you've still got to be pretty happy with how that ended up.
Yeah, I'm pretty ecstatic. I was kind of looking at the new names in there and looking at the iRatings and stuff, and I realized that I probably wasn't going to be a top 5 truck anymore. So I was just hoping for a top 10. I'm actually kind of surprised I did that well.
Well, it's a long season up ahead. It's a third place. It's going to be solid for the championship. How are you feeling championship-wise? It's only one race in, but as always, you've probably got a shot.
Maybe. I mean, Brad's always dominated. He's been a teammate of mine for years. He's always so good. It'd be nice to go out there and compete for the championship. I think I'll do fairly decent. Kind of optimistic about that. But at the end of the day, it's all about getting that chase championship and trying to be strong when it comes to the chase time.
Well, to be specific, next week is Chicagoland. Pretty different from this place. A lot faster. Intermediate track. How are you feeling about that place?
Good, actually. I always run really well at Chicago. It's home track. Got a lot of laps there. For some reason, I just tend to run a little bit better, maybe because I'm excited. I'm at home. But I think I finished third there. Last time I started like 38th or 36th and drove all the way up into about third. So I feel pretty good. I hope it runs really well. We just got to clean these cautions up, and I think it'll do well.
Well, congrats on your third place finish tonight, Thomas Sink, and good luck on the rest of the season. That was your third place finisher, number 48, Thomas Sink, and I believe we're going to speak with one more driver. Austin Hunter is waiting in the lobby, our 12th place finisher in the number 312. Terry, it was a very interesting race for Austin Hunter, but let's hear about it.
Yeah, Austin Hunter, are you here? There he is.
Yes,
Austin Hunter, what's up, man? It's Terry up here in the Race Spot booth. What's up?
Hey, how y'all doing? Thanks for bringing me in. It was interesting race having to start from the rear for my self spin last season, but I was able to bring it home in a decent finish.
Yeah, you come home in 12th, and you had an interesting run. It was an up and down kind of day for you. I mean, you ended up going up 26 positions on the day. So, any enemies you make out there tonight?
Luckily, no. The only contact I made was actually with my own brother in that very first caution. I locked up the brakes trying to avoid him and just slid into him. So he was the only one I hit, and he probably didn't like me much anyway. So hopefully no more enemies.
Take it Nicholas is your brother if my interrogation is correct here.
That would be correct. Nicholas is my brother. Stacy is not.
You gonna try to start the progression of every week you at least hit him?
I've actually had pretty good luck with that lately. For some reason, we have magnets onto each other no matter how hard I try to avoid them. But hopefully, I can finally stay off of them since we're teammates.
Well, I'll tell you what. Every time you go up here, just give him a little door check and say, "Hey, Terry from RaceSpot said I had to hit you."
I can do that for you, no problem.
All right. Well, what are you looking forward to this season? Is we obviously are going to have a shorter schedule than what I'm used to calling, but we got a road course coming up. We head off next week to a fun track. What do you got? What do you got in the cards for us?
I'm looking forward to some strong top 5, top 10 finishes. I'm finally back with my original team, Waterback. Me, Brad, and Tom and Colton started it a long time ago. This is my first season back with them in probably 2 or 3 years, so I'm excited to be back with the original crew. Looking forward to a good mix of the schedule with some road courses, and hope that I can figure out how to turn right as good as I can turn left.
Well, if you can turn right one time, you've already beat me. But Austin, appreciate you for joining us up here. Been good talking to you. Hopefully we talk to you in Winter Circle here soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you much.
Well, that was your final interview of the night. Austin Hunter, the number 312, brought it home in 12th. Terry, it was a race that came down to time. It was a very interesting race. 2 different leaders, 2 different stanzas, but at the end of it all, Sean Powell couldn't be stopped.
Yeah, he was fast. He drove through the field there on those tires. Obviously knew that he had to go on those tires, that if he bothered for 1 second to slip up in any point in time, that he was done. That if he stayed behind the truck back there in about 7th or 8th position, there was no way he was going to work his way back to the front. And he found himself, and he got it going, and it all worked for his benefit at the end. Obviously made the pass with about 3 minutes to go, and in my mind, I looked up, saw 3 laps to go. But yeah, I didn't have my thinking pen. Here's my thinking pen. I didn't have my pen on. Like I normally chew on my pen during the race. Yeah.
I got my thinking pen too. We're gonna have both of these for the rest of the season. But anyway, it's not been a long night. It's actually been a pretty quick night. But that's gonna be all from us, from me, from Terry, from Zach Johnson here for the PRL Truck Racing, for the PRL's NASCAR Truck Series. If I can ever get those words correct. That's all from us tonight. We hope you'll join us later on RaceSpotTV, and tomorrow night we'll have the PRL F3. I was going to say PRL F3 Truck Series. No, it's just the PRL F3 Series. A lot of drivers taking on Fuji Speedway tomorrow night. And as always, plenty more to come on RaceSpotTV. So thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope we'll see you on the channel and on the track as well. So long.